working like I want it to. There we go.
photos, but the phone has fewer features and PC is not portable? Don't worry!
Hello folks, in this video we'll look at how to use a joystick controller with Pygame. We'll begin with the start code where I plain text and create a clock to limit the game speed to 60 frames per second. I then create a player rectangle and position it at the X and Y coordinates. I also specify a color variable which will be used later once we get the joystick connected up. Next is the game loop where I draw. Do is initialize the joystick module. I'll go up to the top and I'll paste in this code which says pygame.joystick.init. Now we can begin adding and keeping track of joysticks within the game. So to do that, I'm going to come down here and I will create an empty list to store the joysticks. This will just be joysticks is equal to empty square brackets. Now, whenever a joystick gets connected, I'm going to add it into this list. But how do we know if a joystick has been connected? Well, for that, there is an event within Pygame, which means I need to go into my event handler, equal to pygame.joyDeviceAdded. This event will be triggered every time I connect the joystick. So let's print this event out and see what it says. Now when I run it, I've already got my joystick connected, so straight away is the device index. That's the value that's assigned to each individual joystick as it gets connected. One thing to keep in mind is that this event gets triggered whether you have the joystick connected before you launch the game or if you connect it during. Now I can disconnect the joystick and I can reconnect it again, and you'll see that it triggers a second time. The device index is the same because I've got the same number of joysticks connected as before. Now I can use this value here to create a joystick object. I'll assign it to a variable called joy, and I'll say it's equal to pygame.joystick.joystick with a capital, and when I pass it device index. Once that's done, I can add this into my overall joysticks list by saying joysticks.append joy. Now that I've got this joystick created, we can start having a look at some of the methods that come with the module. First of all, I'm going to paste in some code up here. Now this is my draw text function from before, but the important thing that is outputting onto the screen is this the number of joysticks that are connected. So it says controllers 1, if I disconnect it, it drops to 0, reconnect it, goes back to 1. There are a few other things that we can call from this module, and I'm going to paste them all in down here. So what I'm doing is iterating through each joystick within that joystick specific one. The joystick module has a bunch of different methods, but I'm just showing a few of the common ones here. So we've got get power level, which will tell me how much battery charge I've got, get name, which will tell me what kind of controller it is, and then get the number of axes with get_numaxes. If we run this, you can see a whole bunch of information being displayed now. The one that I find quite interesting is this controller type. So it detects the type of controller I've got connected, which is a PS4 controller, and it's a 6-axis PS4 controller. Now this is handy for getting some information back from the joystick, but how do we actually get button inputs? How do we control things on the screen with the joystick? Well, it's directly by checking the state of each individual button. Pygame has assigned a number value to each of the buttons that are on the controller, so you can check for each specific button by passing in the number of it. To start with, I want to check for the X, circle, square and triangle buttons. We'll do that by iterating through all the joysticks in our list. So I'll say for joystick and joysticks, and I'll add a comment to say change player color with buttons. The first button that I want to check is the cross. So I'll say if joystick.get_button, and in here I just pass in the value that Pygame assigns to the cross, which is 0. And if that's the case, then I change the call variable, which is the color of that rectangle, to the rest of the buttons. So I'm just going to paste this code in, and it checks for the X, circle, square and triangle, and it changes the color according to each one. If I run this, I'm going to have my rectangle on the screen, but as I press the buttons, you can see that it's changing color. So that's working pretty well. So now let's have a look at moving the rectangle around the screen. If we have a look at those button assignments, buttons. So that's the buttons that we want to check within here. I'm going to stay within the same for loop, and I'll add a comment to say player movement with joystick. And just as I did before, I'm going to go to that specific joystick and I'll say get_button, and Now I'll pass in number 14. This will allow me to move to the right, and to do that, I just adjust my x variable. So I'll increase the x variable by 5 pixels. I can then repeat this for the rest of the directional buttons with pasted code here. So going to the left is going to decrease the x variable by 5 pixels, and then I've got the same for y for moving up and down. Once these x and y variables are updated, if we go and have a look up here, the player's rectangle is updated based on those values. Buttons, you can see the player rectangle moves around. Now we've got directional input with the D-pad, I want to have a look at how to handle the analog stick input. If we look at the documentation again, we can see that each analog stick has a horizontal axis, which is axis 0, and then a vertical axis, which is axis 1. We can use these to see how far to move the player. So we go back into here and we'll say player movement with analog sticks. And I'm going to separate those two axes into their own variables. So we'll say horizontal move for horizontal movement is equal to joystick.get underscore axis vert move and change it to axis 1. Now let's just print one of these out to see what it actually looks like. So I'm going to print the horizontal one out for now. And you can see straight away I'm getting a value here. So if I move to the left, it goes to -1, and if I move to the right, it goes to almost +1. But you can see that between those two values, there's a whole host of different values depending on how far across I push the analog stick. And we can use that to adjust how fast this rectangle moves across the screen. I can get rid of this print statement now, and I will say y is increased by, and then x is increased by horizontal movement multiplied by 5. The reason I multiply by 5 is so that it's the same as the D-pad movement. And now we run this code again, and you can see I'm able to now move around this rectangle with the analog sticks. So if I push it just slightly, it moves slowly, and if I push it all the way, it moves a lot faster. Now this gives me more. But there is one small thing to note. If I let go of everything, you can see that the rectangle is actually moving a tiny bit. So why is that happening?
Robinhood Gold gives a VIP treatment for all. Earn 5% APY on your uninvested cash.
If I put my crosshair over this guy and shoot, I'd hit him with the rocket, but did I really hit him? As it turns out, projectiles are...
Oi, Shroud, what do you think of Cheaters and Davises? Tell us. Please.
Can I buff? Snap on.
It did. They got a spy campus. Up a medic.
Snap it in. Scapped it. Soldered it.
Alright guys, checking out Team Fortress 2. This is the first time I've ever played it. I downloaded it and installed it, and that is it. So you guys are going to be learning along with do with Team Fortress 2, which is not good, is in all likelihood. Heyo! Okay, we are set. I guess the only, is there a tutorial that I should hit for... Be a coach? Definitely not a coach. Okay guys, I'm just gonna do it. Yep. Play the tutorial. Yeah, I'm not above this. Take a look around the environment. Yep. Yes, got it. WASD, got it. Spacebar to jump. Okay, spacebar jump. Alright, I'm learning things. Cycle through weapons using wheel up, wheel down. Alright, feeling good. Okay, let's go back. Alright, let's find ourselves a game. Oh shit, we're doing it. Okay. Like I said, I have accepted passively that I'm gonna be losing. Okay, on offense. Me with these aimbots. I just want to get the mechanics down. And yeah, I want to try to like follow a friend of mine. Okay, I hear other people fighting. Okay, those look like enemies. Are they? No, that's a friend. He's blue. These guys are all blue. Okay. But he's red. Oh, crap, crap. Oh. I may have committed a tactical error there. Yes. Alright, I'm learning. I'm learning these maps. Alright, I'm gonna just stay near the massive friends because you're always better off having.
Hello. So there's a new thing with TF2 recently where you can use model mods on casual custom models, and I thought it would be nice to have a brief, concise video on how to do it quickly, easily. It's not that hard to do. It's time consuming depending on what you're doing, but generally speaking, it's not that hard to do. So the first, what mod do you usually have something in mind already if you want to do this? I don't really have anything in mind right now.
you a lot. We charge you.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Jake Oliver here with another TF2 video, and today it's a very simple video. I'm going to be showing you how to install a custom hit sound or kill sound or both. It's the exact same system for either or, so I'll be showing you how to do that. It's very, very simple. So first thing you can very easily off the internet, or you can make your own. I actually downloaded this online, and it's probably about a 30-second clip. I put it in Audacity and then I cut it down a couple seconds. It's worth noting you can download some of these offline and they can genuinely be like a minute long, and they will overlap when you get kills or hits, and it is very annoying. So please, please, please make sure that you cut it down to the length that you want it to, and then make sure it's a WAV file. It has to be a WAV, or obviously a wave sound file. Otherwise it won't work. A lot of the ones you download online are MP3, just it's easier to download them off websites for whatever reason, and then basically save it as a WAV file, or you won't be able to use it. So very simple. PC, and then choose the drive that you have Steam and TF2 in. For example, I have Steam in here, but I could have TF2 saved in here. Typically everyone has everything in one drive. Mine's in this one, my little C drive. Go down, Program Files, XP6, and then you need to find Steam. It's alphabetical, so that's there. After going into Steam, you need to find Steam Apps. From Steam Apps, you go to Common, and then from TF. And then if you don't have a custom folder, which some people don't, especially if you're newer, just go new and then create a folder and then name that folder custom. Very simple. Now inside your custom folder, I've got a few things because I'm a Chad. And what you're going to want to do is make a file called hit sound. Now I need to emphasize this greatly because I've had loads of issues trying to do all this stuff because I've missed some of these steps. It has to be hit sound, not hit sounds. It needs to be hit sound. I had it as hit sound. Get it to work. Name the file hit sound. You know, right click, new folder, rename hit sound. In this file, make another folder called sound. Again, needs to be sound, not sounds, or it will mess the whole thing up and you will not be able to do anything with it. Then inside the sound file, make another file called UI, and then this sound cache, if you're wondering, this is basically your saved Steam folders when you launch TF2 again. I had an issue where I'd already had this sound cache file put somewhere else because my TF2 life, and this sound file was somewhere else, so I had to find it and then delete it so then it could be rebuilt here in the sound folder. In the UI folder, this is where your hit sound needs to go. So I'm going to minimize this window, and all you need to do is put it in here. Now, again, this tripped me up a little bit. It should be called kill sound, not plural, kill sound. And if you want a custom hit sound, it needs to be called hit sound, not hit sounds. Everything needs to be singular in this. I can't stress this enough. I've been raking my brains over this now for like 2 weeks because I'm moving very slow with these videos. And it needs to be singular. It needs to be kill sound for your kill sound and hit sound for your hit sound. Actually in Team Fortress 2 itself, so we will cut to there now. Bing bang bosh, back in TF2 now. I have a custom HUD, so everything looks, you know, a little bit different with a butt HUD. But essentially, you just need to go into your advanced options. In here, you just need to scroll down a little bit and find these. These are your sound options for kill sounds and hit sounds. Now, for a hit sound, if you want to use a custom one, it needs to be default. I don't use a custom hit sound, so I have it like this. And you can mess varied results. For example, I'm obviously using a custom kill sound, and I have changed it a few times in like pitch and speed and stuff like that. A couple of bugs come up, and talking about bugs, I'll get into that again in a second. But for essentially essentially, if you have a custom hit sound, change it so it's default, and then tweak these at your own risk, and that will beat you with it. And the same for a hit sound, and then just press continue, blah blah blah, in game. Now, a bug I still have to this day, and I'm tweaking with bit by bit, but simple video, and I have different situations, but some of you might be new game. I have no custom kill sound, no custom hit sound, and the reason for that is it changes back to my squash, or one that I used to use, and I think it's something to do with people having custom configs and old settings and stuff like that, but not of custom files that have then changed the game. So for some reason, if it's not coming through, change this. And I know for a fact, when I do it, again, most of you probably won't have this issue, it's just because I have custom files. I know some other people have similar issues, but in my custom files, it changes everything back to default, unfortunately. But what will happen is I'll change to default now, press continue, and then my FOV will change. Only not a FOV, but like view model and stuff like that. Yeah, view model FOVs back to like that. It can happen, and if you're unfortunate enough to be in that boat, join my Discord server and I'll help you fix it. Trying to sort this now, but it's basically, it just affects people with custom config files that are a little bit funky, unfortunately, and maybe you know the fix yourself. But other than that, very simple to do a custom hit sound or a custom kill sound, and yeah, have fun with it. Loads of custom hit sound and kill sounds can completely change up how the game feels, and sometimes it's not even just for funny reasons. They can just tactically be a lot better than using the ones at TF2. That does it for this video, guys. Joining my Discord, check.
console here. Here's how to set up custom hit sounds in TF2. This is a 3-part guide. Part 1 is mandatory for both parts, so don't miss it. Part 2 is a simple custom hit sound with nothing fancy. And Part 3 is multiple alternating hit sounds. Everything is timestamped, so if you miss a part or want to go back, you can use this you need for a custom hit or kill sound. One scientist hurt and death screams. I found a nice video containing the sounds I want to use, but the problem is when I download them, the file format won't be the correct one for TF2. Since TF2 is an older game, it uses .wav, and most times you'll have a .mp3, .mp4, or a WebM file. To make a .wav file, I'll be using a free open source audio recorder / editor called Audacity. After you download and install Audacity from the link in the description, we'll proceed to set up record any sounds that are playing. Click Audio WAS API. Go back to Audio Setup and set the headphones / speakers that you use under Playback Device. And finally, set the recording device the added bracket Loopback. If you don't see your device listed here, select MME on your host, then click Stereo Mix Audio under the recording device. Now, you press R to record, or the red circle, and on the audio show up. Alternatively, if you have a .mp3 file, you can just drag it onto the timeline and edit it from here. Now, with our new audio file, we can proceed to the next step, which is editing the sound of the volume, and finally, converting it into a .wav. If you need to zoom in or out, you can press left control and scroll in or out based on where your cursor is. You can listen to the audio by pressing the spacebar or clicking the green arrow. Once you know where your sound is, hold left click and drag the mouse past your sound to highlight it. Once it's highlighted, you can press Ctrl plus X at the same time. Everything, and press delete to remove everything that we don't want. Ctrl plus V to paste in our sound again, and try to get as close as you can to the actual sound by scrolling in, highlighting, and deleting all the unnecessary parts. You should double check that there's no empty space before or This part involves increasing your audio level, because if you're like me, TF2 is very loud and you play on a lower volume. Or listen to the audio file after this. Drag the bar on the gain slider. In game, you'll be able to hear it. Next, go to File. Make sure it's killsound.wav. Now that you have your .wav from part 1, we can move on to putting it in the game. Right-click Team Fortress 2 in your Steam library, navigate to Manage, and click Browse Local Files. From here, we can click TF, and finally Custom. Here, we're going to have to set up a file for your sounds. This initial file can be named anything, but for simplicity, I'm going to name it Hit Sound. This next step must be followed exactly. Inside your new folder, make a new one called Sound. Inside the sound, it's mandatory for these files to have this name, so make sure everything is right or this will not work. Finally, we can move our hitsound.wav into the UI folder, and for kill sounds, it must be killsound.wav. Now we're going to clear the TF2 sound cache to make sure everything works properly. Navigate back to your custom folder, and if you have anything like a HUD or something else, go into those folders and find the sound folder. Inside, you should see a sound.cache file. Delete it in every single add-on you use, even if it doesn't make sound. Close out of the window and start TF2. In the TF2 main menu, click Advanced Options and scroll down to Combat. Make sure play a sound every time you hit an enemy. Make sure play a last hit sound when one of your attacks kills an enemy is also checked. Ensure the sounds are both on default. If you need to adjust the volume or pitch, you can do so from here. And we'll finally finish. In my case, the audio was still too quiet, so I'll have to go back and raise the gain to around 15 or 20. You can just drag in the old hitsound.wav and adjust from there. For multiple alternating hit sounds, I have to give credit to the Steam guide. This would not be possible at all without them, and I take no credit for this. This is a video follow-through, so if you have a problem here, you can check the exact text to make sure you did everything right. Before we start, I'd like to recommend that you go into this with exactly 3 or 5 hit sounds to use. The guide says you can go above or below, but I've personally never been able to get it to work. Remember that information from part 1 and 2 is required in this, so don't skip those, otherwise things will not work. I want you to put your hit sound .wav, hit sound 2.wav, etc. for now. Also note that multiple kill sounds might be broken. If that doesn't work for you, I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do about it. For multiple hit sounds, we're going to need a script from the game files. To do this, we're going to use GCFscape. This free program allows us to browse the game packages and get what we need. From the link in the description, find and download GCFscape. With GCFscape open, we're going to click File, Open, and navigate to your TF2 install location. Open the TF folder and find the TF2_MISC_directory. Click it and open it. This folder and find a file named game_sounds_weapons.txt. Double click the file to open it in Notepad and press Ctrl+A, then Ctrl+C to copy everything. With this, find your custom hit sound folder, and inside the sound folder, make a new folder called scripts. Inside this new folder, right-click the empty space and make a new text file. Call this file game_sounds_weapons. Open up your new document and use Ctrl+V to paste in everything we copied before. Use Ctrl+S to save it, and then close out the file. Now go back to the script for this to work. Inside the scripts folder from earlier, find the mvm_level_sounds.txt, double-click to open, Ctrl+A, then Ctrl+C to copy everything. Find your custom scripts folder and make a new text document next to your other script. Call this one mvm_level. Open it and press Ctrl+V to paste everything in. Use Ctrl+S to save it, and then close out the file. We're now finished with GCFscape, so you can close the program, but don't uninstall it until after everything works. For this guide, I'll be using the script to replace the Electro preset hit sounds with my own custom hit sounds. This is because the Electro set uses the R&D wave, which randomizes the order of the hit sounds in-game, and uses 3 hit sounds, which I also have. I'm going to take my custom hit sounds from the UI folder and name them exactly how they appear in this document. You can find the kill sound section. Keep scrolling. It's mandatory that you clear your sound cache in every single add-on and custom folder, otherwise this will not work. If you as well have 3 hit sounds, and you name them exactly how they should be, then you're done. In TF2 Advanced Settings, under Hit Sounds and Kill Sounds, select Electro and try it. Steps, but using Vortex or Retro. The guide says you can use more than 5 hit sounds, but I've personally not had any success adding to the file. If you'd like to try anyway, the link to the guide is always in the description. Thank you for watching. I hope I was able to help you. If you have any other guides you want to see, gameplay videos along with clip dumps, so if you're interested, check those out too.
Magnificent!